Mark Feehily, the shy dreamer from Sligo before the spotlight. I spent a lot time at my granny's house when both my parents were out at work. She lived in a cottage on a big farm in acres of idyllic Irish countryside. That was even more remote than my home, but I loved it, and loads of my cousins used to go round there too. It was brilliant. My dad's mum is just the most loving woman in the world. My mum's mum lived on the other side of Sligo, so we saw her on a Sunday usually. Grandad was the landlord of a famous pub in Sligo town, which is where my mum grew up. Everyone knew him, so if I said I was Paddy Verdon's grandson, they'd know who I was straight away. Verdon's bar on the mall was very well known, and Grandad was a big personality. He loved his grandkids very much. He was just this loving character full of stories. We would listen to him absolutely glued. He once told us that he had about 50 stallions kept on a mountain top. They were beautiful stories that he'd tell. He was extremely handy, too. He used to make furniture, all sorts. He had all the modern things too. TVs, videos. I remember he had a hi-fi that was way ahead of its time, and I recall blasting the Bodyguard soundtrack out of it. Nana was lovely too. She was an amazing cook, and every Sunday we'd eat this amazing home-baked brown bread with cheese and ham sandwiched. Both sets of grandparents were very positive, incredibly loving aspects of my childhood. They were like an extension of my parents. At my own home, when mum and dad came back from work, we'd all congregate in the kitchen or living room, and the telly would be blasting out. People would be doing homework or playing, and there'd be loads of chatting. It was never a case of everyone going to their own rooms. It was a very close-knit, exciting, loving family. I spent my youth walking in triangles. One point was our bungalow, another point was my granny's house, and the third point was school. And that little triangle was surrounded by fields and farms. That was my world. Long before the fame, the standing ovations, and the chart-topping ballads, Mark Feehily was simply a quiet boy from Sligo, Ireland, a small-town dreamer with a gift that would one day captivate millions. His story before fame is one of introspection, family values, and a voice born out of sincerity and emotion. Marcus Michael Patrick Feehily was born on May 28, 1980, in the scenic seaside town of Sligo, in the northwest of Ireland. He grew up as the eldest of three boys to Oliver and Marie Feehily, alongside his younger brothers, Barry and Colin. The Feehily household was modest and close-knit. His father, Oliver, worked in the building trade, while his mother, Marie, was a civil servant in the Department of Agriculture. Mark described his mom a taxi service for them. Once clocked out at 5 p.m., transform into mommy mode. We just lived too far out of town to walk or cycle in every day, so mum used to drive us around constantly. They weren't part of the entertainment world, but they were hard-working, down-to-earth parents who nurtured Mark's natural talents and strong sense of humility. Mark often described his upbringing as ordinary but full of love. His parents supported his artistic curiosity from an early age, even if his path seemed uncertain in a town where stable jobs mattered more than chasing fame. Sligo, surrounded by rolling hills and the Atlantic coast, was a quiet place to grow up, but one rich with community spirit. Mark attended local schools before studying at Summerhill College, a well-known all-boys secondary school. It was there he would meet Shane Filan and Kian Egan, who would later become his bandmates in Westlife. In school, Mark wasn't the loud, outgoing type. He was the reserved one, thoughtful, observant, and introspective. Yet when he sang, everything changed. Teachers and classmates quickly noticed the extraordinary voice hidden behind the quiet personality. He began performing at school events, in choirs, and in local competitions. Whether in church halls or small-town talent shows, Mark's voice stood out, pure, emotional, and beyond his years. Mark often turned to music for comfort. As a teenager, he was introspective and sensitive, sometimes struggling with the pressures of fitting in. He has spoken candidly about feeling different growing up in a small Irish town, facing teasing in school, and learning to build confidence through creativity rather than confrontation. Music became his escape, his form of expression when words failed him. He drew inspiration from powerhouse artists like George Michael, Mariah Carey, and Boyz II Men, studying their vocal techniques and emotional delivery. Their influence helped shape his distinctive style, soulful, sincere, and technically refined. The first taste of performance. By his mid-teens, Mark had already started performing seriously. Alongside Shane Filan and Kian Egan, he formed a local band called 6 as 1, which later became IOYOU. They practiced harmonies in living rooms, recorded demo tapes, and played small shows around Sligo, often to tiny crowds but always with enormous passion. Those early performances weren't glamorous, but they were crucial. They taught Mark discipline, teamwork, and the art of connection, how to tell a story through music. Even then, he showed an emotional intelligence rare for his age. In the late 1990s, few would have imagined that three teenagers from Sligo would one day take over the pop world. Yet Mark's ambition quietly burned. He began sending demos to record labels across Ireland and the UK, hoping for a chance. That chance came when Louis Walsh, manager of Boyzone, heard about the talented trio from Sligo. An audition followed and Mark's voice immediately stood out. With the addition of Nicky Byrne and Brian McFadden, the group was reformed as Westlife, and the rest became history. The boy behind the ballads. Before the fame and the spotlight, Mark Feehily was a soft-spoken boy who believed in the quiet power of music. His working-class upbringing, supportive family, and shy nature gave him the emotional grounding that fans still hear in every song he sings. His journey from the classrooms of Summerhill College to the world's biggest stages is proof that even the quietest voices can leave the loudest echo. Mark's early years in Sligo didn't just shape the artist, they shaped the heart behind one of pop's most beautiful voices.